So, a common refrain I often hear about Bitcoin is that there's a limit to how many can be minted. I think it's about 20 million, and nobody can mint any more. I got some news for you. Here's a machine with 64 gigabytes of RAM, and let me tell you some of the things I've programmed with it. I programmed the number one AI for the game of backgammon, and the reason I need all that RAM is because the end game table base, when there are 14 or fewer checkers on each side and they're both on their home boards, there's about 1.5 billion, actually times 3 because you also have the status of the doubling cube, and that will fit in the memory here. One of my other favorite games is Chinese Dark Chess. This is a Chinese chess game with some element of luck because the pieces are upside down to begin with. And that one has an endgame table base that's about 22 gigabytes, if I remember correctly. And for less than a tenth of a Bitcoin, anybody could buy a machine like this and start programming their own cryptocurrency, right? If that's not inflationary, I don't know what is, right? Bitcoin is just one kind of cryptocurrency, right? That's like saying that, oh, the US dollar is safe because there's only so many $100 bills in circulation. Let's Go Brandon could start printing $1,000 bills or $10,000 bills when it suits him, right? They even talked about a $1 trillion coin, right? Actually, the $1 trillion coin might be a good idea because I suspect what will happen is, first of all, it's going to be made of platinum. I suspect what will happen is that we'll flood the market with those coins until platinum hits $1 trillion an ounce, and we'll just have a hard currency again. That might not be the worst idea that's been thrown out there. 2.1 trillion, let's compare that to other market caps. Right now around the world, we have about 1.8 billion ounces of gold. There are 1,000 billions in $1 trillion, in case you didn't know that. A lot of people throw around millions and billions and trillions like they were typical words, right? Most people know a millionaire or two. They don't think a billionaire is all that much more, right? But it's 1,000 of them. Most people don't have a billionaire in their circle of friends, right? There's only like 1,000 of them around the world, right? And there's no trillionaire on Earth just yet, right? So very different concepts, right? 1.8 billion. Right now, gold is just south of $2,000 an ounce. That's about $4 trillion worth of gold around the world. But look at that number. It is shrinking. Imagine there was a disaster, an impending disaster that was going to happen, and there's a countdown clock on the wall, and it's counting down from 1 billion by about 1 every second. Now, would you start to worry about it? If you're my age, that's something you would worry about, right? Especially if you want to have a good retirement, right? So 1 billion seconds is about 32 years. I'm barely 1 billion seconds old. Some of my viewers might have 2 or 3 of those billion seconds left in their lifetime. So that's a very scary countdown in my opinion. But look at this one for silver. 17 billion ounces of silver, but it's counting down by 20 or 30 ounces every second, right? In my lifetime, I will probably see that hit 0. In my lifetime, that will probably start going up again, I think, because the only reason that gold disappears from Earth is that it literally leaves the Earth, right, in spacecraft, right? Everything else that we use gold for, we recycle, right? The same cannot be said about all of these other elements. I can already see a day. You guys have probably seen some other videos of mine. My favorite brand of non-alcoholic beer is Heineken. It comes in aluminum cans. Now, in some states, when you buy a 6-pack of beer like that, you can recycle the cans and get 5-cent deposit back, right? But I suspect the day will come when aluminum is too expensive to even put into aluminum cans, and most of these metals will run out. I wouldn't be surprised in the year 2100 the drinks come in gold cans. Of course, there'll be a hefty deposit, and you'll want to recycle it. But a lot of the other metals will likely be extinct. So anyways, 2.1 trillion and growing, or do you want something that's a few hundred billions and it's counting down at a doomsday rate?